You're listening to the Behind the Tee podcast, hosted by your favorite club curlers, Rob and Kelly. The show where we share our thoughts on what's happening in the curling world with the internet. But let's be real, we end up talking about football half the time anyways. And we're back for another week of curling talk. How's it going, Rob?
It's going well. I was very late on my picking up on that, but I'm going to say, and we were actually back to curling this week.
We were, and we won.
We did. First time in a year and a half that we actually played a real game. I know it's like really late for us to start, but that's neither here nor there. All that matters is,
at this point.
Exactly. When you've waited a year and a half, what's another couple of weeks, right?
Exactly.
So
how'd you feel in the first game?
Not too bad, just because I think if anybody listened to last week, I told about the many brain farts of my actual first game. This was just my first game with you. So fortunately, I didn't make as many mistakes as I did the first time. I remembered what color we were through most of the game. I remembered who had hammer for most of the game, unlike my actual first game.
I did it at one point. I think there was one end where we had hammer, and we were basically playing the entire game without hammer, but then there's this one end we had hammer, and I totally didn't even realize.
We can kind of get away with it because we're not skipping, but the time I did forget I was.
I was playing third, and the skip, she made a call, and I was like, oh, you want to do that? And I'm like, oh, wait, we have a hammer. Of course, never mind.
Oh, of course.
But it's, we play, let's say our league isn't competitive.
What are you talking about? We played Mike McEwen. And we won. We have a curler at our
Mike
club,
McEwen.
yes, named Mike McEwen, who is a great guy. But with respect to him, he's not the Mike McEwen that you see on TV, although we shouldn't tell people that.
No, but, I think he would also admit that he's not at the same level as the Mike McEwen, so we're all good. But no, it was nice being on the ice again, and just the whole, rushing from work to get to the game, and then playing the game, and then having drinks with the opposing team is just, feels good.
It does.
It's a little foreign, because it's something we used to do every week, and then we haven't done in over a year and a half.
It does. And if you were anything like me, because we played Tuesday night, got home very, very late Tuesday night, I was pretty exhausted for most of Wednesday, but I was happy to be tired. It was nice to be back to that, booking it to the curling club and then going, oh, okay, when the hell am I going to eat dinner? Like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night kind of thing?
Funny story, actually, I had plans to go into the office the next day with a coworker, and she texted me in the morning being like, hey, sorry, I don't think I'll make it. I'm feeling a little snuffy and runny nose, so don't want to risk it. And I was like, that's totally fine because I'm exhausted. I got home at midnight last night.
The perks for working from home.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
And we should say also, because I don't think any other curling clubs are doing this, so we get the unique perspective of getting to talk about this, but we're still playing by social distancing rules here. When we were playing, we are only supposed to have one sweeper at a time. So for instance, normally you and I would sweep together for quite a few shots, but you would sweep one rock while I would go stand in the middle of the ice and freeze and just kind of cheer you on. I wasn't even paying attention, to be honest with you. But those are the rules that we're playing by. I don't know if anybody else is. Let us know in the comments for all you YouTubers.
It feels kind of weird because I play third, and so I'm only sweeping 2 rocks an end.
I know, and I've been talking to people at our club about this, and I don't think any of us like it. It's just...
I think it'll change. I think it was just a rule set, not knowing what the situation was going to be and how comfortable people were going to be playing. So
yeah, and I'd rather just go for it and wear a mask because I got really bored just standing there.
And
it
it's
made
cold.
Me think I got cold. Yeah, I was playing front end, but in between, I would sweep the skip's first rock and then the lead's second rock. And I found that was a good 10 minutes off in between shots.
Well, good thing we're not playing Kevin Cooey because you'll make that 20 minutes between shots.
A good segue. Yeah. Hey, wasn't that my job?
No,
I don't
sorry,
know.
Took it over.
Good for you. So yeah, in kind of more important curling news, but not really, the Olympic trials, Kelly, they are officially underway.
They are. Have you watched any of the games yet?
Yeah. So about that, I did watch a little bit yesterday. Okay. As for today, I know there was some good. I did see a bit of the morning draw. The afternoon draw was pretty exciting. I missed almost the entire first half of it because my cable went down.
What?
I know.
How does your cable go down? Is that even possible?
It is possible, let me tell you. Because,
And
as
it's
you
just your
know,
cable, like not your internet and everything, right?
no, it was just my cable. My internet was fine, but I was unable to watch. And after doing the whole unplug it, plug it back in business and trying to reboot it and figure out tech support myself, I ended up having to call my provider and spending a good half hour on the phone with them. But I got it back just in time for like the fifth end or something.
You do know that you
I
can
know that I knew this
access
was coming.
TSN Live with your cable account.
I actually couldn't. I tried. It didn't work.
Oh, really?
I thought about that, and you should be proud of me for actually remembering that I could
Okay,
do
because
that.
I was like, because that's how I get my TSN,
I
not
know.
through
It took
someone
me
else's cable.
I know. There was a part where after sitting there for an hour, there was this thought of what would Kelly do? First, she would make fun of me. Then she
Uh-huh.
would tell me to listen, you idiot, get on tsn.ca. And I tried and it didn't work. But all in all,
Okay.
because you give me this all the time for still having cable, not only do I pay for it, I pay for it when it doesn't work.
Oh man, I am sorry that happened to you. But you know what? To be fair, I also did not watch all of the curling for different reasons, though. Yesterday, I watched the Einerson Flurry
Yeah, yeah,
game.
yeah. In the afternoon.
I was tired from a big week, so I watched the first two ends. Then I took a nap and I woke up in the last two ends. And then today, again, I am incredibly tired because I went out last night. Thing we can do these days. And so I watched the Kui versus Gushu game, which could have been a first round at the final, if you will. Like we kind of both expected these two teams to make it to the final.
Yeah.
Again, I watched the first two ends. I passed out and I watched the last end.
Oh boy. Hey, well, this is great because I watched the middle. That's when my cable came back on. So maybe if we just recount what we saw, we can recap the whole game.
There you go. There you go. This is how
Yeah,
teamwork works.
that's it. So yeah, we're a couple of draws in. I mean, I guess it's early and it's too early to take much stock in anything, but already Brendan Botcher 0-2.
Holman as well,
Homan
0 and
0-2.
2. Oh,
And
she has not been playing well.
no, like you did see that game this morning, right? Against
No, I
who was
didn't.
oh, okay. So she played this morning against McCarville. So Krista McCarville actually led the whole game and it got a little bit close for a bit. Like Homan got back in the game, but McCarville pulled it out, held on for the win. So McCarville's 1-1, but that put Homan at 0-2. And I had to say, I watched the first few ends and I don't think I've seen Team Homan play that badly. They were missing shots, not just by inches. They were coming up very
Mhm.
short of the rings, rolling out on hits where they were supposed to roll in the other direction.
I heard, I don't know who was saying it in the last draw, if it was Russ or Cheryl, but essentially they said no team that started at 0 and 2 has won the trial
Yeah. And
or
here's
like made it to the final.
that was a stat that popped up that no
Yeah.
0-2 team has ever done it. And with respect to Krista McCarville, I mean, we all love Krista McCarville, but I don't think she'll be figuring prominently at the end of the week. I think she's one of those teams that if you're a real contender, you don't want to really drop a game to Krista McCarville.
Mhm.
Like we get it if you drop a game to Carrie Einerson, who we both think is a real favorite, but
But like you can't afford to drop a game in
to anybody.
to anybody. It's not like the Scotties where, Alberta or Manitoba are going to be tough competition compared to New Brunswick.
Yeah. Just to say, though, because I still believe in that thing, that you don't want to drop it to anybody behind you. They also lost to Jacqueline Harrison yesterday, who, with respect, I don't think will be figuring too prominently either.
Yeah, she's a pre-trial entry.
She's a pretrial entry and she upset Rachel yesterday. She turned around this morning and got blown out by Jennifer Jones.
Ooh.
So,
Well,
but
speaking
yeah,
of Jones,
Holman is
she's
0-2. Jones 2-0.
2-0. So, I mean, it's still early. They're doing a full round robin, so the ranking here can still change, but
Right.
definitely not looking good for Homan. I mean, this is really bad for our picks, but I wouldn't be putting money on her today.
Well, yeah, it'll get interesting because by the time anybody listens to this, the trials will be over.
That's true.
Yeah, this is Sunday night before the women's, whatever the next women's draw is, the first weekend of the trials.
Maybe if I can speed edit this, I can post it a little earlier.
Can we just take a quick side note? Because I actually wrote this down. So Kelly does 99.9% of the work behind this podcast, including all of the editing. And you do a really good job because it's seamless. But I actually noticed something when I was listening back to last week's episode.
Oh no, did I miss something?
No, but it was just one thing that where I sat there and going, I know she just cut something out. We had a very long argument about where Brad Jacobs was from. And I noticed you cut it out. This means I was right, people.
That's the great thing when you're the editor. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but you can edit yourself to make you sound more intelligent. Okay, now that you bring it up, I might as well say it. So for some reason in my mind, I just always thought that Team Brad Jacobs was from Thunder Bay, Ontario, like Krista McCarville, but I stand corrected. They are not from Thunder Bay. They are from the Sioux.
But nobody blames you, Kelly. Sault Ste. Marie, Thunder Bay, Sudbury,
the
they're all
same.
the same, right?
Yeah, well, don't tell that to someone from Northern Ontario.
All the don't unsubscribe. We're sorry.
Actually, I've never been to the Sioux or anywhere in Northern Ontario.
I actually have. I've driven through, not Thunder Bay, but I've driven through Sudbury and Sault Ste. Marie.
Okay.
I don't remember much about it, but I can say I've been there. I have not curled there, though.
Oh, well, gotta change that, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so back to trials talk. I guess like the big news that came out right before the start of the tournament is that there was a shakeup in Team Dunstone where Braden Moscowy had to pull out at the last minute, and they brought in Colton Lott from Manitoba to step in. We still don't know what happened to Moscowy. They just stated that he's off for personal reasons, so we'll leave it at that.
That's it. So like it is personal reasons is what they're saying. Okay.
So, and it must be something really bad, like to pull out of the trials, which is after the Olympics, probably the biggest tournament you could be playing in.
No, absolutely. It has to be.
The game started on Saturday, but this came out, like the decision was made on Thursday.
Yeah.
So
obviously it has to be something incredibly serious because we were racking our brains about what would get you to miss the whole week of the thing you've worked for 4 years. So whatever it is, it's got to be pretty serious.
Yeah, no, for sure. And hopefully I guess we wish him the best.
Yeah.
But hey, great news for Colton Lott. I read an article actually that he was at the curling club throwing rocks with his fiance and mixed doubles partner. And she gets a call or a text from Dunstone on her phone, and she saw it immediately because she was filming Lott to say like, hey, can you get Lott to call me right away? And then that was the call asking him to come down to play in the trials. Like, could you imagine getting that phone call? Like, I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
That's quite something. Yeah, that's got to be a bit of a whirlwind. Are they? I think they're from Manitoba, right?
Yeah.
The Colton Lott. Yeah, so not too far to go.
Are they from Gimli as well? Like, I think they're from the same area.
I think so. I think that came up last year that everyone's from Gimli.
Yeah. Like the entire population is
that's
just
right.
Gimli are curlers.
I think so. That mixed doubles final, which was Brad Gushu and Carrie Einerson against Colton Lott and his fiance, whose name escapes me. Kadriana Sahadak, I think. Is that it?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. I apologize. Yeah, I think Brad Gushu was the only one on the ice not from Gimli, if memory serves me.
Yeah, well, who knows? Maybe he moved there.
Hey, I've been to Gimli too. It's really nice.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Clearly, you've traveled a lot more across Canada than I have.
I know. Well, hey, now that COVID's not over, but you can go places within the country again, sort of. By the way, though, we should just point out, though, as good a moment as this may be for Colton Lott, I think Dunstone was one of those teams that you never know could be knocking on the door for breaking through at this event. I mean, he's medaled at the Brier, I think, a couple years in a row now, but they are 0-2 right now. They've lost to Brad Jacobs, who's 2-0, but they also dropped a game to Mike McEwen. And from what I've seen, the scores have been pretty lopsided. And I'm just wondering, maybe, I don't know what you think, but whatever it is that's going on, maybe it's shaken up the whole team just because to change over your third right before the trials start and to expect it to go well, I don't know.
And there's a big position too, like you're communicating with the front end, but then also with the skip and like that whole dynamic. And I'm sure they get along great because they picked him. Again, this is not like this was a decision made a few weeks before where they had time to like process the whole change. Like this literally happened right before the
Yeah.
tournament started.
Although I should say, I should add at one of these Grand Slam things that, we both follow so attentively. At one of these Grand Slam things that I had on in the background a few weeks ago, I remember seeing Matt Dunstone curling, and I noticed his third was not Braden Moskowy. And I was asking who that was, and then I saw the player turn around and was Colton Lott. So he was already sparing for Matt Dunstone a few weeks ago.
Right.
So I don't know if maybe people saw this coming, whatever it may have been.
Oh,
But
maybe.
in that sense, maybe they have played a little bit together before. It might not have been like as drastic a drop in of a player as we've ever seen, but still, it's not working out so far. 0-2.
Well, it's not working out for Botcher either.
No,
But they're young guys. This is not their
it's
last
true.
chance at the trials or the Olympics at all. Gushu, on the other hand,
Yeah.
maybe I'm sure he's gonna pull a Howard and keep curling till he's 50.
I think so too. And I should just like quickly about Botcher. So Botcher lost last night to Brad Gushu, but he very much could have won. Like I think he was leading in the 10th end, hoping to force Brad and then win it in the extra end. Gave up 2 or 3, so did not get the force. And then this afternoon, I was just watching. He had a open draw to beat Tanner Horgan. I think he
saw
only needed
that.
the 8 foot, and he came up
Yeah,
short.
really short.
Yeah,
I
that was shocking.
surprised. I mean, great for Horgan. During that game, though, I mean, we only really saw the last end when they moved over to that game. But Horgan, they were saying how they're not really expecting to win. Like they know they're very much the underdogs here, but they're trying to get like all the experience they can and just enjoy the whole week. Good for him to come out of this with a few wins. And
Oh yeah.
although your chances of winning are very slim, just the fact that you can still create some upsets and kind of put other teams in contention and all that stuff. No, I think it'll be a good week to watch, and I will try not to pass out halfway through the game. I mean, this doesn't
No
help the whole
guarantees,
thing
though.
that Curling Canada is trying to make curling more exciting to watch. I'm not a good example of that.
I know. I found this morning's game rough. I got up, I mean, it's the weekend. I kind of want to sleep in, but I woke
Right.
up, watched the game, and I knew we were podcasting today, so I actively paid attention. And it's bad, Kelly, when you're tired from watching sports, not playing sports, but I watched the full 10-end game and I was exhausted. I mean, it was all our old commercial favorites were back. That, first of all, just like raised my blood pressure to go along with the curling. Like that exhausted me further.
Do you know what commercials really got me annoyed right now?
We
I've
knew this
seen
was
it.
coming at some point, right? Like which ones?
The Timbit one with the kids.
Oh yeah, I don't like it. With Sidney Crosby and the
Yeah, and there's like a radio show, and then someone's like, "What's the meaning of life?
just have fun.
Just have fun." Oh, shut up. Like I will not be able to stand watching that commercial every race.
No, but the good
And
news
it's
is
a
I
long
don't
one
think
too.
it is, but I don't think it'll last because I think that'll get bumped by Sidney Crosby is about to get bumped by Justin Bieber with the launching of Tim Biebs, which I think is sometime next week. Remember, we're gonna have to try those. We're gonna become food critics for one of our podcasts.
Oh, definitely. I'm like the Tim Hortons is a block away. Like I'm gonna go, and I'll try it out and come back with my thoughts.
Okay, we should just do a brief takedown of the commercials we've suffered through so far, I think.
The other one that I was like, oh my goodness, it's not bad. It's not a bad commercial, but the one where it's a very dramatic commercial with farmers and they're like,
Yes, I know which one you're talking
in the
about.
family, and it's just like it's a nice commercial, but it's just very
I texted my brother to ask, is this like a Marvel movie or something about a farmer? Which really annoyed him because I don't know anything about Marvel movies. And
What I love about farming is that I get to work every day with my brother and my father and my children running around next to me. I'm sorry, I do not want to work with my family members every day.
But I will say, whoever did the lighting for that on like the special effects, we should get in touch with when we launch our Netflix series. It was well produced. The message is
No, it's a beautiful commercial, but I'm just not their target audience.
No. Yeah, that was one of them. Which ones have annoyed me? Well, all of them. New Holland is back and all of that. We're getting the nice videos of the people sucking stuff out of their nose. The Navage. Don't you love that graphic of how the fluid goes up one nostril and comes out the other?
Yeah. Scotty's has not updated their commercials this year yet.
They have. There's no more I'm Only Human after all. That's gone.
Yeah, but the other ones that are there were last year's
Oh yeah, like
commercials.
the
Like the
girl putting her
girl.
foot in the Kleenex box, or
Yeah.
Scotty's box, pardon me.
I think enough people have complained about the I'm Only Human.
A few of our listeners were among them.
Maybe they only purchased the rights for the song for like a year and they're like, it's not worth updating.
Yeah, I kind of don't mind the new ones. There's this I don't know who she is. I think she's probably some kind of somewhat famous carpenter, or I don't even know what the right word is, handy person.
Mhm.
And she's talking about how she dumped an entire can of paint in the back of her truck, but don't worry, sponge towels to the rescue.
Oh yeah, I saw that when I was like, there's no way that you're wiping paint clean from the back of a truck in one wipe with a Scotty paper towel.
No, and that's not something I want to put to the test either. But I remember thinking about that. Like the other guy, the TV chef, Roger Mooking,
Yeah.
who I've seen on like some Food Network things, he dumps a bowl of curry on the floor and he wipes that up with his sponge towels, and that I could believe a little bit more.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, paint's a little like denser of a liquid. The other commercials that I actually kind of like, well, probably be annoyed with them by the end of the season. All of the Curling Canada ones just saying like curling's back, like the woman who's kind of frozen in the stands and the guy's like vacuuming all the dust and she just kind of wakes up.
Okay, here's where we differ.
Okay, and then there's the other one with the guy. He's also in an arena in the bathroom, painting his face like a sports fan would, and just like yells like "Ah, curling's back!" Yeah, I actually like them, and they're like 5 seconds long. So
Yes, they're short, and by Curling Canada standards, which are incredibly low, they're not that bad. But I find them stupid, especially the one with the guy paint.
stupid. I thought it's cute.
The guy painting his face. I don't understand why he's a statue, and he's like comatose, and then randomly he bursts back to life. Like I
Because
don't.
that's the thing. It's the same thing with the woman in the stands. It's like we've kind of been frozen in time, right? It's like a fan that was there but then had to freeze because there was no curling going on. And now that curling's back, they're like brought back to life.
I don't know. It doesn't work for me. I think it's
All
kind of
right.
dumb.
All
But
right. Agree to disagree.
oh, but actually, I have to bring this up too. So this is old stuff, but a couple of weeks ago we did our Men with Brooms podcast, which everyone should listen to, and everyone should rewatch that movie. By the way, that's the conclusion that we came to. It's aged much better than we thought it would. But when you were here, because we watched that at my place, we also flipped on the pre trials or whatever it was on YouTube, and they were showing some old curling ads. And we have to get this out there. I couldn't believe that you had never seen the ad for the Love of Curling scholarship with all these kids that have these tragic stories that have befallen them. And there's this one kid who's throwing socks down his hallway, and he's talking about how he found his voice in curling.
Is this the same one as the mathematics?
Yes, you
watched...
yeah,
I've already seen them.
No, but you were here in my place, and you were like, "I've never seen this." And the quote at the end where he says, "This is the equation that defines who I am."
Oh right, no,
and I gave you crap
forgot,
for that.
Yeah.
You were like, I feel like if you've seen that, you would know.
Yeah.
Kelly's gonna get cable now.
Never. Yeah, it's a little too dramatic
And a little cheesy.
Very cheesy. Another thing I noticed, this is a very popular topic for us, is how do you find the clothing attire?
Oh, I'm okay with it. I'm
Okay.
not in love with it. I've seen better, but I've seen worse. I don't really like I'm going to call it confetti style of little maple leaves that are sprinkled across the front, but at least they're very faded, so it doesn't really bother me that much.
Yeah, I kind of liked it. Same thing. I'm not sold on the maple leaves at the bottom of the shirt, but I find it looks a lot better on the lighter colored jerseys. Like Horgan is wearing that really like pale baby blue,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it looks really good there. But who was it? What's his name? Gushu is wearing orange, and like it doesn't work as well. Like he's wearing a pumpkin orange.
Actually, we got to bring that up because I think we both predicted that Brad Gushu was going to win. I don't remember.
Oh, hold on. I can tell you right
Okay.
now. Yes, we both predicted he will win.
Okay. Well, I'm calling it now, Kelly. Well, it helps that he's 2-0 on this day of recording, but I'm calling it. He's going to pull it off. Do you know why?
Because he wore orange at the last time he won. I had the same thought. And I wonder if, because I don't know how the colors are assigned, if it's random or you get first dibs or whatever. But I wouldn't be surprised if Gucci was like, I want the orange.
Give us the orange. I bet he did, because I was looking at the I have no idea, but here's my theory, and it's that they allow teams to choose, and maybe they have some kind of system whereby you get the first choice, because I looked at the team pictures and a lot of them have the same exact same color scheme as one of the women's teams. They have a lot of the same as the men's teams. So
yeah,
I explained that horribly. But just to say, like, Botcher is wearing blue for the men, and for the women, McCarville is wearing the exact same thing. Jacqueline Harrison is wearing yellow. Jason Gunlickson is wearing yellow.
I guess an easy way to explain it is that there are, how many teams are there playing? 9?
There's 9.
So there's 9 colors.
Nope, but there's not. Oh, it's way more interesting than that.
Oh, hold on. Okay.
Stop the presses. For the women, Kelsey Rock is wearing purple. I went through all the pictures.
Okay.
There's no purple team for the men.
Oh, okay.
And that's where they differ. That's with Brad Gushu and his orange jacket. So I bet he was supposed to have purple and went, no, give me orange.
Oh, so there's no women's team wearing orange.
There's no women's team wearing orange. Unless I looked at these wrong, but I don't believe so.
Orange is a hard color to pull off. I would be happy with orange.
But this is a much better orange than he had all those years ago, I think. It's much darker. It's less fluorescent.
Yeah. Well, it's also, we've progressed in terms of fashion, especially in curling since then. Did you see the game yesterday? They actually showed clips of him winning back in the day with Russ Howard and everything. And they look, well, not they, because Howard looks exactly the same, but Gushu looks like such a little baby. He looks so young. And when did they win? 2000?
That was 2005.
5?
Yeah.
7? 5?
Yeah, so okay. 16 years ago.
Oh, he looks so young. And I mean, he still looks good now, but he was, what, in his 20s when he won?
I felt really old watching that and thinking, I remember that vividly, and that was 16 years ago.
Yeah. Anyways, there's that. And then there's Jamie Cora.
Oh,
his
right.
Hairstyle. Jamie. I don't know what he looks like now because he's retired from competitive play, but I hope he kept that hairdo in the 2000s because it was very much a 2000s haircut with the dye and the spikes.
I remember the spike tops. Yeah.
If you grew up in the 2000s, you would recognize the hair.
That's it. I remember it now. Yeah. Now that you mention it.
And I have one more problem with the outfits is the crest or the logo of the trials.
Right?
I can't help think that it's like a crest for a Saskatchewan Farmer Association.
I think that's by design, by the way. I think they want that's probably exactly what they were going for.
It really does, because at first I thought like, oh, Saskatchewan's playing or something. Like I see it and Saskatchewan's the first thing that comes into mind. But because it's a trial for Canadian to pick the Canadian representative, I would thought it'd be a little more like Canada centric. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I don't like it, but what I like about it is that it's.
I'm okay with it, but I don't like it.
What I don't like about it is exactly what you said, but what I do like about it is that it's smaller. I remember the old Roar of the Rings logo used to be like really big and kind of awkward, and I remember. If you had a sponsor on the other side, there was no way to make it look symmetric. You would have one ad that's way bigger than the other. And
but this one is pretty big too. It's pretty, like, it covers a good part of your upper chest there.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah.
They've never done good with those logos.
I don't know who they hire as their marketing team.
I remember the first time, or not the first time, but there was many years ago where we'll have to put this on Instagram or something, where they had a new Briar logo, but it looked like a hot dog.
I don't remember this.
I have to send you this. I'll try to find it. Yeah. And we'll put it up on Instagram. But I remember they redesigned the Briar logo, and I was like, it was supposed to be a curling rock, but the striking band was brown and the rest of the rock was beige. So it looked like a
Oh,
hot dog.
oh, I see what you mean. Oh yeah, no, that's horrible. And since when is a rock beige?
I know, like I don't know what they were going for. We have no graphic design training, and yet I think we do a lot better.
Well, I work in marketing, so at least I'm like surrounded by creative people all day. So
And I watch
I
curling,
feel
so I
like
know what bad fashion is.
I feel like their creative essence is kind of seeped
Hmm.
into to my brain.
But yeah, the jerseys are okay. There's no big like strand of black electrical tape across the front like there was at
Oh,
the
that's
Briar,
true.
right? So
Oh, that was horrible. But speaking of trials, there's another country that just selected their representatives.
yes, I wanted to talk about this. There's a lot going down south of the border.
Uh-huh.
That's the country
So
you were talking about, right?
yes, yes.
Ah, good. Okay, good. We're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, so the Olympic trials ended today, actually, and they had a slightly different format. They had fewer teams, obviously, but they did a double round robin.
Trivia question: name the ones that are not from Minnesota,
Jamie Sinclair.
which we can't explain.
Let me first finish my story before we
Sure.
jump
Yeah.
into that.
Sorry.
Yeah, so they played a double round robin, and then the top two teams from the double round robin went into a best out of three final. Also, I don't know how you feel about that. I don't think it's an
I
odd choice.
I kind of like our system better. Of you get a bye to the final, and
Yeah,
the
just a
two
regular
plays
playoff.
three.
I guess they want to avoid tiebreakers, but then you can still end up getting a tiebreaker after a double round robin.
Yeah, like what I don't like about it is if you're clearly in first, like if you go undefeated and then the second place team just squeaks in, the fact that you're on level playing field with them and it's a best of three, I don't really know. I think you deserve a bit of an advantage.
Yeah,
Mind you, a best of
but if
three
it's a
is an
free,
advantage that you may
yeah,
never face elimination. So,
exactly. And I guess it gives you that chance to, if, yeah, you finish number one undefeated, you lose a game, you're not losing the final.
right.
You have like two more tries at it.
And with fewer teams, like only 6 teams, I think it's not that bad.
So I tried to follow a little bit and kind of like we complain a lot about curling websites. I feel like Curling Canada's website really improved significantly throughout the years. The US has some catching up to do.
Oh, really? I just do it through Curling Zone.
It is the least user friendly website. I don't know how many clicks I had to go through before I finally found the scores or the standings. It was as if it was made in 1999. It's
Yep.
that bad.
That's par for the course with curling websites, though, I feel.
Come on, even just get a Squarespace, not sponsored, a Squarespace account for them. Like
But
you can
open
make
to sponsorship.
you can make like a website that's 10 times better than whatever you developed, but I digress. So for the women's, do you know who won?
Yes. So it is Tabitha Peterson.
Yeah,
Yes.
Tabitha Peterson. So she won 2-0 against Christensen.
And I guess this is where we should bring up Jamie Sinclair because we were kind of keeping an eye on her. We thought it was interesting, the whole premise of her starting a YouTube series about living in a house for a whole year during
With
COVID
your teammates?
with her teammates to basically what we've been saying should have been a made for TV reality show. Anyways, though, it didn't really pan out. They did not do very well over the course of the week. And unfortunately for them, all that was for naught, I suppose. But although, like we've said, they'll probably have some good stories to tell. So why were they listed as being out of Charlotte?
I have no idea. I
Can
don't know
somebody
how it
explain that?
works.
I know.
Every other female team that was playing in their trials was from Minnesota.
And that house they rented was, I believe, in Minnesota.
And none of them are from North Carolina. So I don't get it. Unless it's a thing for their playdowns, like for their actual like worlds and US championship playdowns,
Maybe,
that
because
there's too much competition out of Minnesota. So they're like, I want to play out of North Carolina. But then also none of them. So if you check the roster on this website, if you're able to find it, none of them reside in North Carolina. None of them were born in North Carolina. So I just don't know where the hell North Carolina comes from.
very interesting.
And it's a pretty southern country as well. Country, sorry. It's a pretty southern state. So,
It's we've always done some shady things like that. Not us personally, but like back in our days of competition, when you were only allowed X number of teams out of our area, we would be like, "Oh yeah, we're totally members of this club that's 8 hours away, just for the purpose of getting a spot at the provincials."
yeah,
That's what it reminded me of. Is like maybe there's a limit on the number of teams from Minnesota that could
maybe
go.
maybe it's just a question of paying a membership to a club and there you go, you can call yourself from North Carolina.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not surprised to see Peterson. She's been playing in quite a few slams and has represented the U.S. Quite a few times.
that's
So,
right. And she won the bronze at the Worlds this
hmm
past year in the bubble. So
yeah,
I remember and she beat Sweden to get that bronze medal. Yeah,
right.
with Anna Hasselborg. I remember we were talking about it because it was. I mean, I'm sure Hasselborg did not show up because playing in the bronze medal game is beneath her. Hasselborg, fun fact, has never won a gold medal at the Worlds. So
Which I was surprised when you told me that. I was like, what?
I know this is turned into a clip show.
yeah.
But yeah, but even still, what a big accomplishment for that team, and I think they'll be very good representatives of the US of A
Yeah, and so in the men's, it's a little more exciting.
because it's not over yet,
It's
right?
not over yet.
That's right. Okay, good. I did read it correctly.
Yeah, the final is played at 5 p.m. Not our time. What's the central time, I guess, or something?
um, I don't know. I have it on Curling Zone as being at 8 p.m. tonight for us in the East.
Oh, okay. Anyways, on this website, I found 5 p.m. I may have been looking at the wrong game because
Okay.
it's
I
really
mean, I
hard to
might have been
tell.
looking at the wrong game too. Curling Zone is also a little bit. It's good. It does a lot, but it too looks like it was made in 1999. Sorry, there goes another sponsorship opportunity.
For the men's, it's Shuster versus Dropkin. Never heard of Dropkin before. And also, I checked their team roster. Everyone was born after the year 1995, so I felt quite old.
Oh yeah, I know. Corey Dropkin, I remember, was juniors back when I was not when I was junior. I wish, but when I was coaching juniors, I remember him being around. So,
Okay. His team is also from Minnesota.
oh, I never would have guessed that.
I know him. And yeah, so there it's 1-on-1. So the final, game 3, will decide who would represent the US.
Oh, wait a minute. No, sorry. He has Joe Polo on his team. Joe Polo is much older. Joe
What was he
Polo.
born in 1992?
No, he has to be older than us because he was part of the Pete Fenson team that won bronze, I believe, in Turin in 2006. I'm just doing this to stop the hate mail because it was about to roll in. In fact, that team was Pete Fenson, Joe Polo, John Schuster, and somebody else who I don't remember. Apologies to whoever that guy is.
Oh, 1982.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, I recognize this face. He looks quite American. Oh, he plays mixed doubles with Tabitha Peterson.
Oh.
I just saw a picture on Google.
But I was gonna say, we always see John Schuster at the Worlds and at the Olympics, and he kind of did well at the last Olympics, if I remember correctly.
I think he won a gold medal.
A lot of sarcasm on the show today, Kelly. I know, eh? By both of
I'm
us.
still waking up from my nap.
I know, me too. This is how we are all the time, though. So I thought we should give like a quite a bit of credit to John Schuster because when I stopped it, had this thought this week that the United States and Canada are two of the few countries that I can think of that actually send their representatives through competition. Because we hate all these we don't hate the countries. We hate the
The
procedure
process.
where countries are just declare whoever they feel is going to win. We feel it's not good for the game. It's not fair for the players. And I think a lot of countries are now doing that or coming up with some convoluted hybrid system, not to mention names. Switzerland, pardon me. So Canada and the United States are two of the few countries that I can think of that actually send teams through who have won the right to be there. And you would think that they're just handpicking John Schuster because he wins every year. So full credit to him, and even more credit to Corey Dropkin if he can actually manage to beat him tonight.
Also, I mean, just want to add a little caveat there. The US doesn't have the same amount of curlers or
Oh, I
high
know.
level elite curlers as Canada would.
Of
But
course,
still,
it'll
big
never
feat.
have the depth, but
Yeah.
still, It's
Yeah,
really impressive, I think, to win it all these years and to it reminds me of like when Glenn Howard won Ontario every year in a row.
right.
Until one day he finally did lose and it was shocking. And
Yeah. Well, this may be the end of the reign of the Schuster era.
we'll have to
Tonight,
see.
we'll have to wait and see. But to segue to countries who do not select their teams through competition, the European Championships have kicked off this weekend as well.
That's true.
So there's a lot of curling to watch this week if you're that keen. Yeah, it's being played in Lillehammer, Norway.
They've hosted the Olympics there.
And so it's actually the A division and the B division are playing at the same time. And there's a notable new team, at least on the women's side, that we've never seen play at the A level before, and that's Turkey.
Turkey is in the A.
Turkey is in the A.
Wow, good for them.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
know that.
And they're doing not so bad. Actually, so in the first draw, they played Switzerland. The game, do you want to know what the score of the game was? I didn't watch the game, but
I do want to know. I haven't seen any of this at all. And I love the Europeans, but I guess it's just there's too much going on for me to
yeah,
follow it. But what happened?
the score was 10-8.
Okay,
So
that's a
I
lot of
don't know
points scored.
if, like that's an unusual score for curling, and the caliber of the Switzerland team and the Turkey team are not on the same playing field. So
I I kind of wish I was watching that game. How fun must that have game would have been to have
ah.
I speak goodly. How awesome would it have been to have watched that game? There we go.
I'm sure you can find it on YouTube.
Oh, I know, but it's not the same when you know
Yeah, I
who
know.
wins. Like if you just sit down to watch a game and that's what happens, that's fun.
Yeah, well, I'm sure, or if you don't watch the whole game, there's probably most definitely like highlights or something. But I also want to comment on Turkey's clothing or like attire.
Oh boy.
Actually really like their jackets. Google
Okay,
it.
I'm googling them right now.
It's white with red accents, but then there's like a couple line of flowers. Like, you know, the kind of like Eastern European, Middle Eastern like flower pattern.
Okay.
You have to Google this. There's no way I can explain it.
Oh yeah, like
But
are they
actually,
like in parallel stripes?
yeah,
Am I looking at the right picture?
yeah, like a white jacket with.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's nice.
It's nice. It's very unique
I do like
compared
that.
to Sweden. I don't know why they revamped their jackets, but it's all yellow and they have a black stripe on their shoulder. And I was like, where did black come from? If it's not black, it must be an incredibly like dark navy color.
Well, we both commented that Sweden really mailed it in at the Worlds last year for their uniforms. Like I've seen we could have gotten nicer uniforms at Walmart or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. But hey, yeah, good for Turkey.
Mm-hmm. And in the men's, it's like the same teams, but Denmark is back in the A. They're a team that flip-flops from A to B all the time. And the Czech team, the male Czech team, is also in
Okay.
the A now.
Okay. I believe they were at the Worlds, were they? I think so.
The women's team was definitely at
The
the
women's team, we
Worlds.
know that.
But this is one thing that's surprising, and maybe I'm just not remembering things correctly. But Russia played in the World Championships last year, right? The men's
Yes,
team.
and they did very well.
They're in the B.
That doesn't make any sense.
I
Like
don't get it. I don't understand how this works.
the men's team did way better than Canada did.
Yeah, and they're in the B. So I guess do world championship spots not count towards your points, or is it based off of? Oh, if it's based off of your performance at the last European Championships, maybe that's it.
Maybe
They
I
didn't.
don't.
They got relegated down back to the B.
Right, because if you don't make the Worlds out of the Euros, is there another pathway to get there?
I
I don't think so, right? Yeah, I
So
don't
then
know.
the Russian team just won't be in the Worlds this year.
I don't know.
We'll have to keep
Also,
an eye on
yeah,
that.
I know. Like that'll be good. It'll give us content for later because, like, I don't.
But another team that caught my eye in the B division on the men's side is France.
France is back.
France is back. And I remember back in, I guess, the 2000s, I don't remember the team name, but there was a good men's team. Well, it was the only
Yeah,
team from France. And they did
I think it was
pretty.
Thomas Dufour. I think.
Zuffo, was it that?
I think so. As I Google it.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Thomas Full. Yep. From Chamonix. Yeah, so France is back. Great. I mean, France was not known to be a big curling country, although they could be. But they're
It
not.
could be. Quick side story. I did go to a European curling championships once that I witnessed, and I remember I was watching the A and the B event simultaneously, and France was in the B division, but they didn't show up.
Oh, they just ghosted?
They ghosted the event and got themselves sent down to the C, which was funny because they were absolutely favored to win the B, but then they just didn't show up. So not only did they fail to make it back to the A, they got sent backwards.
Was there a reason why they didn't show up?
I think it was that the team broke up or something
Oh,
like
okay.
that, and it's the only team you've got in
Yeah.
France. So
Because of the trials, I don't think I'll be watching much of the European Championships, but I'm sure I'll follow because I'll follow whatever news comes on Instagram or something like that.
yeah. Oh, speaking of Instagram, before we go, well, follow us on Instagram.
At Behind the T Curling.
I've been seeing these ads on TSN as we've been watching the trials. Vote for your favorite shot through Curling Canada's Instagram.
Do you also know they started a TikTok as well?
I saw that. But that's where I draw my social media line, Kelly, is
Yeah,
like
me
I
too.
barely can figure out Instagram. There's no way I can figure out TikTok. But yeah, I tried to vote in that favorite shot thing on behalf of us without consulting you. And I could not figure out how to do it. So
Oh, was it on the story?
think so. I don't know.
You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
I know what story means. I do now. I think it was, but it was not what I saw on TV, and I did not know how to vote. And then I did something even worse, Kelly.
What did you do?
There was something about on the CCA on Curling Canada's story. I think it was a story. Yes, I clicked on that, and there was something. You know how you can vote or something with a little sliding scale
Yeah.
on things. They were asking how much you like the TSN curling theme song.
Okay.
You're giving me the weirdest look right now.
Okay.
Slide it to the right if you really like the TSN curling theme. Slide it to the left if you hate it, or leave it at the left. And so I was like, oh yeah, we love the TSN curling theme. Again, totally speaking on your behalf. And I tried to slide it all the way to the right, and I accidentally lifted my finger and voted that we hate the TSN curling theme.
How do you accidentally lift your finger?
I don't know. My phone froze or something. I didn't slide it very well, and it registered as hating it.
Oh no. And they'll see that we hate it.
Yes. So that's why I wanted it on the airwaves, that our official stance is, correct me if I'm wrong, we love the TSN curling theme. Like,
Yeah.
now that we can actually, apparently karaoke bars are open again. Like,
Yeah.
if we ever go karaoke, we're going to take the mics and like, da, 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 da. We'll sing the TSN
You'll
curling.
do it. You'll do it, not me.
Oh, come on.
Okay, we're going to end that at that.
No, wait, I have one more thing. Sorry.
Oh, what?
Fan mail.
We got fan mail?
We have, very quick before we go, fan mail. A comment from a listener saying Val Sweeting had a few wobbly deliveries.
Oh, I noticed.
Yeah. And so this listener pointed out she should throw with a stabilizer.
No. Maybe it's the fact. Remember how last year, every time Val Sweeting was on TV or they're airing her game, they made the comment how she switched from glasses to contacts?
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
contacts.
Oh, it's all coming back to me.
Yeah.
It has to be anything but the stabilizer.
Exactly. No.
Had to get that in there. But
All
yeah,
right.
we'll leave it there and enjoy the trials,
Yeah. Bye.
which are now over. Bye.